Hey guys, it's DocHoliday, and I wanted to walk through one of the other raid fights within LOTRO. So this is the Mistress. This is the last boss within DN, which is Dar Nargabud, which is the 12-person raid that was introduced with the Lorien content. So this is kind of the second major 12-person raid that's been gated by radiance. So in this case, certainly that will change with Echoes of the Dead, but for now it is gated by radiance. You need to have at least 75 radiance to fight in this fight as it stands right now. But again, once Echoes of the Dead hits, that's going to go away. So, start of this fight, you need to go through and kill these 4 world eaters. So essentially, my role in this case is I'm grabbing 2 of them and just keeping them occupied. Making them mad at me, telling them stories, all that good stuff that tanks do to make sure that we keep them occupied. And then the rest of the group is going off and burning the other ones. Now, the World Eaters have a proximity heal, so if they're close enough to each other, they will heal each other. And you can burn through it. You can get through that damage proc, or I'm sorry, the heal that they have. But it's just annoying, it just takes you longer. So if you can keep them separated, it just makes things so much easier. So usually what you do is you have one person go off and grab 2, so usually your main tank will go grab 2 of them, and then you'll have some other heavy class grab the other ones. So usually a champion or a tank or a captain or whatever you may have, go off and grab them and keep them away. So basically you'll have 3 people designated tank the world eaters, and then everyone else will be focused on DPSing the main assists, target down, finish that one off, move on to the next one, and so forth. The other person that's designated here is there actually is a designated healer protecting me, so basically keeping my me alive. You'll see there's the minstrel that's kind of off to the bottom left of me. But just going through really here, this part not terribly difficult, kind of straightforward as to what's going on. Now you'll notice that that one world eater just peeled off, so what we did there is just force taunted him. So you go through and do force taunts, that helps bring him away, and you'll see force taunt wore off, so that's why he's coming back to me, and then we cycle through another force taunt. So just kind of cycle through there with the different force taunts. We've got a couple of captains and a couple of champs, so enough force taunts to go around, and just go through that, burn through them, and then we can go through and proceed off to the next stage, which is the Mistress herself, and really she probably is one of the ugliest bosses in the game. And outside of that, she really is pretty annoying to go ahead and tank because you have to keep on looking at her. But once you go through and do that, she then will start calling waves of ads, and essentially they're just annoying. And you go through, burn through the ads, burn her down, and so forth, and go through and complete that. So we're on the 4th of the World Eaters. So now we're just burning him down. And so this part is not too terribly tricky. The world eaters aren't that big of a deal. It's just a matter of keeping them separated and then just burn him down. So having 3 tanks is quite handy. Although certainly having a champ or a captain can tank it. I'm sure you could probably also do some other sort of combination of tanking if you wanted to. So now, one thing to note is after the world eaters are dead, you do have a scripted period, where the Mistress goes off and does her yelling and screaming and whatnot. So you do have a chance to eat. So since that first part is 4 minutes or so, you do want to be able to have a chance to go ahead and eat. So you do have that break after the world eaters. Now, one of the kind of annoying things about the Mistress is she will spin around and randomly decide that she wants to go smack somebody. So you'll notice that even though I do have aggro on her, which is that purple ring that's under me, and I never lose it, she will just randomly decide that she wants to be upset at somebody else and just go off and start smacking people around. So this is another case where having high morale, even if you're a squishy class, the more morale you have, the better chance you have at surviving one of these random attacks. So, I know a lot of people talk about, if I'm a minstrel, I don't need that much morale. Well, if you're in a group like this, having more morale really makes a big difference because it allows you to go ahead and survive some of these attacks that you might not be able to. You'll notice that different people in our group have different little orange bars next to their morale bars. Essentially, that means that different people in the group have different levels of radiance. So this is one of the current gating mechanism. So if you have less radiance than what the raid requires, it will drop you down and you'll have less morale. So that's what the orange bar is in this case. So this for a while is just a pretty straightforward tank and spank. You just go through and keep the Mistress occupied and really wait for the ads to start rolling through. Now, the way that I have my user interface set up, it pops up with different effects that are on there. So the left bar there underneath my character is any debuffs that I have. The center bar is all the buffs that I have, and the right one is any cooldowns that I have. So I just she just hit me with a wound that lowers my armor. It's a pretty nasty one, and actually has a pretty long timer on it too. So I went ahead and used a wound pop. So that's why I have that wound on the right side there taken down. It's not a wound per se, it's a cooldown of the potion to use for the wound pots. So, again, this is relatively straightforward. She's not gone to another scripted part, so now I have a bunch of ads. So now I'm peeling off to go ahead and help take down these ads, and just kind of running through and trying to help get rid of these ads as much as possible, because she's gone green, so you can't attack her. So we're just kind of hanging out here waiting for these ads to come through. And again, each wave that comes through, you just burn it down as quickly as possible. We've got a bunch of champs in our group, so bringing everyone into the middle, doing a blender approach, works pretty well for us. So going through here, I think there is another wave. Yeah, there's another wave here that's coming through. And these are all relatively low morale mobs. They're all normals. The biggest problem really is they're just a lot of them, and they move pretty quickly. So once you get through that, back to the Mistress. And going through and tanking. She does punt, does some other annoying things, but for the most part, she's not terribly annoying. And go through and continue to burn her down. You keep an eye out for ads, but for the most part, go through and continue on that. Again, I still have aggro. This is kind of an annoying fight because unless you have the user interface set up properly such that you can see the purple ring, which allows you to see who has that aggro, and also see the target of target indicator, which is also in the combat UI settings. That shows you, if you notice, I'm targeting the Mistress, and then below that you'll see my portrait. Well, really, what that's telling you, that's not something that's on my character. That's basically telling me who the Mistress is targeting. So that's a way that allows you to see who has aggro on the Mistress. Really handy for a tank. It's also really handy for minstrels. It's pretty handy for anyone, because that's a good way of knowing who's got aggro. It's good for a DPS class, because if you have DPS class and you have aggro, that's usually a bad thing. So you want to be conscious of that, want to be careful. You'll notice our hunter is currently down. Again, Mistress goes off and decides that every once in a while she's going to do AoE attacks on the group. She wants to randomly single people out, so she's kind of annoying that way. And if you don't have enough morale, or if you don't have enough radiance to keep your morale high, it can cause problems and be a bit of an issue. So this definitely is a fight where you need to make sure that you have enough morale to go through and withstand some hits, because even though the tank's doing his job perfectly in this case, you still will get hit, and it still does cause some problems. So, going through this case, we actually have not only the Mistress to worry about, we do have some ads. So we do have a couple other things that are going on. These snarling overseers, they're not only just additional ads, but they also like to mez people, which is, as you can imagine, very annoying. So these are ads that you want to make sure you burn down as quickly as you can. So you'll notice me periodically, I'll peel off and get a couple attacks in just to try and make sure that we do that. These blue ghosts that you'll see there on the Mistress, that is a captain ability called Oathbreakers. It's a legendary trait. Basically increases the damage your group does to whatever they're targeted by a significant amount. I think it's like 25 to 30%. I forget the exact number, but it's a very important skill. So if you're going to raid with a captain, you want to make sure you have that, because that is a big one that people will ask for and people will expect you to have slotted. So we've gone through, pretty much brought down that. The other overseers will despawn once she's dead, and go through that, finish that fight, and go and collect our loot.